What's up, Couch Fam? These are my picks for DraftKings Week 13. Let's go. All right, guys, we're focused on GPPs, tournament plays. So we're going to be looking at high upside picks, cheap picks. We usually focus on contrarian picks since we're doing GPPs. But this week, I think we're just going to sneak in one contrarian pick, maybe two. You guys know I usually like to do like four of them. It's on the extreme side. So this week, we're going to be eating a little bit more chalk. So yes, these are my NFL DFS picks for week 13, concentrating on winning those DraftKings GPPs, those tournaments, those hard to win contests. Big payouts for the top finishers. Let's start off with my quarterback picks this week. I have three selections and three totally different selections. So number one is going to be Lamar Jackson. It was actually the most difficult to make my picks was quarterback, because I'm just looking at it like things seem very obvious. And I really like this pick because two things really. Number one, Lamar Jackson is a very up and down quarterback. Tons of upside, low floor, high ceiling for his caliber. Like the floor is okay, but for the highest price quarterback, for an elite quarterback, it's pretty low. So he's very up and down. We see him putting 40 fantasy points. We see him put in 30, 35 fantasy points on the high end, which is plenty enough to finish as the best quarterback in fantasy on any given week. Then we see him putting 20 or less fantasy points. A lot of times I see 13, 16, and those are pretty recent. And so that's exactly what we want. Another small reason I'm picking him is because of last week's performance. Week 12, only 13 fantasy points. Because of this, he will be used less. He will be rostered less. He will be in less entries, which makes him a little bit more contrarian. Now, I can't even really use the word contrarian because it's Lamar Jackson. It's not a magical find by any means at all. He will be in a lot of entries. Just saying, because he was bad last week, just because of that, because we have seen the downside, because his price tag is so high, expect about 1.5% less than if his price tag was just $400 cheaper, and he actually played really well this past game, but he did not. Only 13 fantasy points against the Browns. A lot of interceptions. I think this game had about, how many did Baker throw? 4 or 5. So anyway, it was at least 8 interceptions between the two quarterbacks. Lamar threw 4 picks. I think Baker threw 4, maybe 5 picks. It was a low scoring, terrible game on the whole. Lamar Jackson got it together a little bit and it was good enough to win, but it was just a horrible low scoring game. Steelers D is, I would say, average, and when their offense isn't really rolling, when they do have injuries on defense, their defense is below average. And so we're going up against, let's just say, an average defense at best. So, the 16th best defense right now. So it's an average matchup. So that's my one elite option. My next option I do like a lot for tournaments. Remember, we're taking risks here. So although there are some very obvious options, and I can go through and talk about why I didn't pick them really quick, but I'm going to do my 3 picks really quick here. Joe Burrow, 6,300. I think a lot more people were going to pick different quarterbacks like Herbert or Stafford, or I don't know. There's other options that are more obvious. So we're finding one, again, with a little bit less ownership here, and the price is great. This is actually a high-scoring, close game. At least that's how Vegas has the game script going, 50 points or higher, and some books have it higher than 50, so 50-point total. And Chargers-Bengals, going to be a close game. People may think two things. One, this is a Joe Mixon game. That's what people might think. And two, Joe Burrow has not been that great. This team hasn't thrown the ball that often. So the hype with Joe Burrow is worn off a little bit just for fantasy, just for stats. Like, the Bengals are great and Burrow has been playing good. I'm just talking about just for the points. But there is a realistic chance that it is not a Joe Mixon game, that it is a passing game. And remember, Joe Mixon can catch the ball. He's a very talented pass catcher. Hasn't done it a ton this year because his backups catch the ball a little bit more, and Joe Burrow likes to target the wide receivers a lot. Remember, Mixon can catch. Also, the Chargers are going to have to pick their poison. So this could very well be a Jamar Chase game. He might be back. It could be a Joe Mixon game, but we don't know that. The Chargers are going to have to pick their poison. Do they completely sell out and try to stop the run, which they're desperate to do so? Or they could just play balanced or try and stop Burrow and Chase. Like, this is a realistic scenario. I know the Chargers D sucks at stopping the run. It's not, nothing is perfect. Nothing is guaranteed. We can't predict everything 100%. And especially when we're doing these videos, when we're talking about GPPs, we have to appreciate the unlikely scenarios and appreciate that we're not going to be right. What we expect is not going to happen all the time. So yeah, it could be another Joe Burrow game where he puts up like 17 fantasy points. He has an okay day and Joe Mixon runs all over the Chargers. That can happen. Or it could be a shootout between Herbert and Burrow. And if Burrow outscores Herbert by just a tenth of a point, just 0.1 fantasy points, he's cheaper, and boom, that's going to be huge because a lot of people are going to be picking Justin Herbert, who's a bit hotter right now and he's been playing quite well in terms of fantasy points. And my third one is going to be a horrible pick. This is definitely one that I recommend only if you're doing multi-entries, and that is Matt Ryan. There's several other better options with higher floors, but I think Matt Ryan provides that upside we want. Bucs secondary, not that great. Matt Ryan has done it before. He's actually done it this year. Peep this. In New Orleans, Week 9, 31.5 fantasy points. So he has done it against a good defense. I think the Saints might be even better than the Bucs, at least overall, as an overall defense. He's done it, and I know this is a dumb pick. I know the Falcons' offense is horrible. There is no hope. But I'm trying to give you guys contrarian picks, and this might be one of the few in this entire video. But you stack Matt Ryan with a guy like Gage or Pitts, and I think you can rise to the top immediately if they do score touchdowns. The game script or what Vegas has it is not that great, but it is showing that the Falcons will score 2 or 3 touchdowns, putting up approximately 20 points this game, the Falcons team. So that's going to amount to at least 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If he throws 2 touchdowns and then sneaks in 1 more touchdown in garbage time, we'll see what happens. Falcons didn't play that bad this past week. It was a Cordell Patterson rushing performance that really got the W there. I think the Bucs will really try to stop Cordell Patterson. I'm not so high on him this week, like telling everyone to basically start him. And you can't bench him in regulars, in season-long fantasy and dynasty. You can't bench Cordell Patterson. But I think the Bucs will focus on stopping him, and I think they will contain him, which could open up a lot for Matt Ryan. I wish he had a better check down option, but hey, maybe Pitts, maybe Gage, maybe he does something. On the flip side, this O-line could absolutely get crushed and demolished by the Bucs D-line, and Matt Ryan could have a long day just on his back, on his butt, getting hit, and just not being able to get the ball off. I know that, but hey, we got ourselves a contrarian pick who, even though this team does suck, no one likes him. I get that. We don't have confidence in him. He has put up 31 fantasy points, 22 fantasy points, 25 fantasy points, 29 fantasy points, 22 fantasy points against the Bucs week 2. I know it's ancient history almost. They're on the decline. Falcons don't have the juice, but at least we're looking at a guy who has done it. And week 9, I'm pretty sure he did that without Calvin Ridley as well. Calvin Ridley, I feel like hasn't played in quite a long time. Can we look that up? I'm like 99.9% that he did not play week 9. Let's see. Yeah, so Calvin Ridley essentially stopped playing week 7. So yeah, he did that without Ridley week 9 against the Saints. So it is possible. He has a little bit of upside, and I won't go over the other options that I didn't pick because it's going to take too long. But essentially, I was looking at Heineke, Carr, even Tua, and those guys are smarter picks, quote unquote smarter, or as higher floors, how I'd put it technically. But they don't provide that upside and super contrarian pick. I feel like Carr is going to get picked a little bit more. Derek Carr, right? He has that number 32 next to the matchup. Opponent ranked 32 going against technically, according to this, the best matchup possible. The defense that allows the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. He will not be contrarian. Heineke, I like him. Don't think he provides that upside that we want. And you notice on these videos, I talk a lot about like perception and, inconsistency and ceiling, because everyone knows that, Washington defense, they allowed the most points to quarter. Everyone sees that. Everyone knows that. We're looking at other scenarios where, we can go straight to the top. People didn't see that coming. That's what we're looking at. And that's why I do like Matt Ryan as a dumb, crazy GPP pick. If I'm entering 10 lineups or more in a GPP, I'm picking Matt Ryan once. I'm going to do it. Like, I really do feel like that's a super contrarian pick. And it's also that type of pick to where even if he doesn't finish like as a great quarterback, it could save you enough money for you to win the Millie Maker. So if he's like, let's say the 5th best quarterback this week, that could easily be enough for you to win the Millionaire Maker. Easily, just being the 5th best quarterback. We usually like to target, just a general rule, a top 4 quarterback. That's what I usually say. Hey, we need a top 4 quarterback in this slate. I think Matt Ryan, even at 5, could help us hit payday. Okay, moving on to running backs. We had to do some Matt Ryan pushing right there because we don't have a lot of contrarian picks on this video. So number 1 guy, just going from most expensive to least expensive, is Alexander Mattison. I absolutely love him. Top 3 running back this week, almost guaranteed. The price is not great. That's why I don't think a lot of people will be picking him. Suggest you pick him in a couple lineups. He's going against the Lions, and he's going to ball out. I mean, no doubt about that. Another guy, one of my favorite fantasy players. I talk about him just about every single second of the day. You guys already know. Eli Mitchell, 6,000 going against the Seahawks. Seahawks run D. Don't think they can stop him. Debo is out, the biggest vulture on the Niners. And I think Eli Mitchell's going to get 30 touches, 27.3 fantasy points. Lock it in. That's my projection for Eli Mitchell. But we have some other cheaper options here. J.D. McKissic has been ruled out. And when we got Antonio Gibson healthy, baby, Antonio Gibson in a workhorse role, Antonio Gibson going against the Las Vegas Raiders, I absolutely love it, love it, love it. We got a lot more TD potential. He absolutely balled out last week, 26.6 fantasy points against the Seahawks, with J.D. McKissic vulturing 2 touchdowns. So what, we got no touchdowns here? My God, no touchdowns. And 26.6%. I mean, this man really is like no touchdowns ever this year. Like, it's been nothing for this guy. Bye week did a body good. He's back. He's ready to go. There is no J.D. McKissic. Smallwood is going to take his role, J.D. McKissic's role. So Antonio Gibson is going to be the workhorse. Look at this, guys. 29 carries, 7 targets. That's 36 opportunities to get fantasy points. 36 opportunities. That's no joke. And that's with J.D. McKissic playing, over a half of football. He was in there a good amount. As I think I saw him score 2 touchdowns. I'm just going off the top of my head from watching the game. So, yeah, no J.D. McKissic this game. Love starting players going against the Raiders. All right, he is 5,700, by the way, playing at Las Vegas. At 5,400, little chalky here. Now, this actually isn't that great because I can see him get vultured. The Lions won't score a ton of touchdowns. So this is kind of a high floor, low ceiling play. Not the best for GPP. Did want to quickly mention him, though. I do like him, 5,400, going against the Vikings. DeAndre Swift, now for sure ruled out this week in the Lions-Vikings game. 5,200, Miles Sanders. Now, I hate that this has this 32 right here. Like, that is freaking annoying. That's going to, cause a few more people to pick him. But Miles Sanders could be the only running back. Jordan Howard has been ruled out. I don't know what's up with Bernard Scott today. Didn't look at any Bernard Scott news, but last time I checked, he was questionable. So just keep tabs on Bernard Scott's health. If Bernard Scott is out, watch out. Miles Sanders on an offense that could be rolling in a workhorse role. This guy's going to be good going up against the Jets. Jets are terrible. Good things happen when you face the Jets usually. So just keep tabs on Bernard Scott. Maybe Bernard Scott's limited. That could be enough for me to push and start Miles Sanders. By the way, 5,200 is extremely cheap this week for a running back. That's going to be a great call. And one guy that I love that you need to pick in GPPs. You're just going to need a backup plan. That's going to be Sony Michel. This could be an explosive, big statement game for Sony Michel. 20 plus fantasy points going against the Jags is a very likely scenario. I would say probable, over 50% chance that happens. And at 4,300, you're not going to be able to beat this value. Now, there is a chance. Don't listen to what Sean McVay is saying and none of that. Okay, we just got to go off of practice participation and what we think. Okay. Sean McVay lies a lot. We already established that, especially when it comes to running backs. Darrell Henderson didn't practice Thursday. Don't know what's up with him Friday. We can look it up, see if there's any news. But there is a shot that, I think there's a good chance. All right, there's a really good chance that Darrell Henderson doesn't play. My guess is he's not going to play. That's just my guess. So if Darrell Henderson is out, you got to start Sony Michel. Now, why I really like this, why there's some risk here. One, no one knows what the deal is. Sean McVay lies a lot. I don't know. By the time I'm recording this and upload it, maybe Darrell Henderson's ruled out. I don't know. But as of now, it's up in the air. Why I really like this. No one knows what's up with Henderson, for sure. And the Rams play later. That equals low ownership, low percentage. That means that Sony Michel could be contrarian at 4,300. Being a workhorse on a relatively good team, the Rams, going against one of the worst teams in the league, the Jags. That's incredible. Now, I'm going to tell you what to do. If you have 3 running backs in your lineup, make sure he's in flex, okay? So if you're able to put him in flex, put him in flex. If not, have some options ready. I was looking at it, and Jeff Wilson's a little expensive. Adrian Peterson's not in this. Latavius Murray could be one. Carlos Hyde is cheaper than Sony Michel. Bateman might be a little too expensive. Just look at certain players that can replace him. And for most of you, it's going to be a running back that you need. But if he's in flex, it could be a running back, a tight end, a wide receiver. So have your emergency start ready to go once the injury report, the inactives come out 90 minutes before kickoff. Again, I don't know if I made it clear. The Rams playing the second wave of games, so we won't know if Henderson is out likely. So make sure you have a backup plan. Set your alarm, right? So kickoff is around 4 p.m. Set your alarm to 2:30 p.m. or 2:45 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern time to make sure that you do check the injury report, the inactives, and see if if Henderson is playing. Just making super clear to you guys, have a backup plan. I love Michelle. I'd be comfortable starting him in all formats, picking him in any type of DFS lineup, whatever you're doing. Just make sure you have an emergency plan to swap him out. I'm looking, oh, Philip Lindsay, doubtful, baby. Hey, Gaskin might be a late add to this list. Myles Gaskin, 5,800 going against the Giants. I do absolutely love that in a workhorse role. So yeah, I guess we can add Myles Gaskin 5,800 too on this list. I think people are a little bit scared of Gaskin. He's so up and down. Okay, let's go on to wide receivers. My 3 elite, or should I say expensive options are going to be Terry McLaurin. Projections are low on him. Everyone's low on him. He hasn't really performed that well other than week 11 recently. But remember, this is still scary Terry, and the matchup is great. Also, no J.D. McKissick. Let's see what Terry McLaurin could do. Price is expensive. He will be contrarian. It's pretty rare. It's scary Terry, good against the pretty good matchup, I think, and he's going to be contrarian. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe they double him. We'll see. But McLaurin is one of my elite options I like. Adam Thielen, really see him scoring at least 1 touchdown this game. So he's another elite option at 7,300. He'll be slightly contrarian. And then we got Jamar Chase, who everyone was picking every week in GPPs. And now he's kind of fallen off. And like I said, guys, it's either going to be a Joe Mixon game or a Jamar Chase game. And probably not both, but either or. And the Chargers D will decide. So don't write off Chase just yet because he's been kind of falling off the last few weeks, at least what we've expected, the first 5-6 games. But don't worry, or first 7 games, should I say. Wow, he really went off against the Ravens. So, hey, don't write him off just yet. And Jamar Chase, at least compared to how popular he was in entries, he is going to be contrarian as well at 7,000. It's just the hype is really worn off. The perception is really low for Jamar Chase right now, at least compared to what it was a few weeks ago. I love Chris Godwin. I think he's going to go off. Let's see if Tom Brady keeps throwing the ball. Could be just a Fournette game, but I think the Bucs will score a ton of points. And even though, yeah, teams with a huge lead do run the ball out, that doesn't happen till later most of the time. It's not going to happen like right after halftime, right when they come out of the third quarter. They're going to be slinging the rock, and hopefully the Falcons will score a little bit so it won't be a completely lopsided game, which it could be because the Falcons do suck. Man, I'm really eating the chalk here. Please don't hurt me. Don't yell at me. But I got to go Brandon Ayuk. I think he has a decent amount of upside. And he's just a clear-cut wide receiver 1 with Debo out. So I do like Brandon Ayuk going against Seattle. And Seattle's going to have to pick their poison too. They're going to have to pick how they're going to lose this game. They're going to sell out and try to stop the run, or try to stop Brandon Ayuk and Kittle in the pass game. And I think Shanahan's a smart coach, and he's going to have both options ready to go, and he's going to just roll out. You know, they're going to try to run the ball for sure, the Niners. Like, there's no doubt about that. But there's going to be a lot of wide open, big play opportunities here, and I think Ayuk at his price point, to me, he's priced as if Debo was playing. I mean, I guess we can kind of prove that, right? Debo Samuel is 8,300, second most expensive wide receiver. So, yeah, he's pretty much discounted. Ayuk is priced as if Debo Samuel is playing and ready to score a bunch of touchdowns like he always does and get a ton of touches. So, yeah, we're getting Brandon Ayuk at a discount. I like it. I'm kind of torn if a lot of people are going to be playing him or not. Maybe let's say lukewarm, medium. He won't be contrarian, but he won't be extremely popular as well. He won't. Not as a Niner, a team that loves to run the ball. My next guy is going to be Russell Gage, 5,300 going against the Bucs. Like him, he has a bit of upside, low floor, decent ceiling, in a really good price, 5,300, good stack with Matt Ryan. Another chalky pick. I apologize ahead of time. I apologize right now. Van Jefferson, 5,300 going against the Jags. Very chalky. if you didn't want to eat the chalk, you would go Odell Beckham here, right? And then you can easily swap out Beckham with Van Jefferson. Honestly, I'm just thinking of this right now. Odell Beckham is 5,500, right? And if you wanted to pick him, he's going to be more contrarian. He's going to be a little bit more of a sleeper. And if he's ruled out, you have plenty of time to swap him out for Van Jefferson, who's cheaper. So 100% of the time, no matter if he's in your flex, if he's at wide receiver, you'll be able to swap out Odell with Van Jefferson, except if you picked both of them in your lineup. Then I don't know who you'd have to swap him out with. Claypool? I don't know. How Claypool's probably, yeah, he's too expensive. Well, it's 500 more expensive. I don't know. You have to find somebody. Claypool, I don't know, Rashad Bateman, random any Jags wide receiver, something. You'd have to swap him out. Ayuk is 5,600, right? Ayuk, yeah, there we go. Niners game, Ayuk, yeah. You probably do that. It's 100 more expensive, though. Moving on. And I have a cheap punt option. It's not a good one, I will admit it, but it is Juwan Jennings, and hey, it's a punt. And yeah, that's about it. It is a punt option. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for the Niners. Has looked solid. Has really locked that roll up the last several weeks. So I do like that. Oh, another one, Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds could be one. I need to add this guy. I'm going to add this guy to my list. Might have to add him in regular fantasy football. So yeah, let's add Josh Reynolds, the new number 1 wide receiver. Just another pick, just some salary relief. 3,400 is extremely cheap for a team that's gonna need to throw the ball, I'm sure. All right, not to go off on too many tangents here, and let's move to tight ends. I need a sip of water. I can't talk for 5 minutes. I got 2 picks for tight ends. So number 1 pick is going to be Dallas Goedert. I do feel like he is going to be contrarian because he put up 1 fantasy point last week. So I'm going Dallas Goedert. And if you want to go cheap and eat chalk, I'm very confident in Foster Moreau. Obviously, there is a dimension, there is a scenario where Foster Moreau sucks. Very likely, well, not very, but it's within the realm of reality. But other than that, I am very confident in Foster Moreau. Derek Carr loves the throwing to the tight end, except when Darren Waller is healthy. You know, it is what it is. Like, it's just an off thing this year. It's so weird. But Derek Carr, other than this year when he's throwing to Darren Waller, he loves his tight end. Jared Cook balled out. Darren Waller balled out. And when Darren Waller is out, Foster Moreau balled out. So it's, we've seen this. It's going to happen. Don't think Washington can really stop it. I don't think they're going to stop Carr like that bad. And the price is amazing. Of course, seems like Foster Moreau is priced as if Darren Waller was playing. He's basically minimum price, $2,700. Don't mind eating the chalk here. Because even if he catches just 3 balls, that's gonna probably be good enough to win the Millie Make. Like it's not gonna hurt you. If you catch 3 passes, right, remember it's full PPR, or you score 1 touchdown, you're already good. You're good at 2,700. The other tight ends, the elite tight ends, cost 3 times as much, right, or 2 times as much. So if he gets you 7 points, you're gonna need 14 points from a guy like Ertz or Pitts. So, yeah, I do like Foster Moreau. It would be so easy to hit that value with the island of Foster Moreau. For defenses, there are so many options. So I'm going to break it up kind of into tiers. So my first tier is 1 defense that I really love. Then I'll give you guys a bunch of other options. And then I got 3 more sleeper picks. I know what the comments say. This guy's all over the place. I read the comments, but I like to give you guys functional advice. I guess I don't be like, hey, I like Cooper Kupp this week. That's not gonna help anybody, man. That's not he's so expensive. I feel like this is gonna help you, and I'm breaking it up into 3 parts. So number one, most bang for your buck, really good price and really good ceiling is going to be the Dolphins D. This week, we're not worried about any ownership when it comes to defenses because there are about 7 elite options or more. So there's going to be a lot of different thought processes and strategies with defenses. There is no clear-cut guy, right? There just isn't. So I do love the Dolphins D. Again, price is great, 3,300 going against Mike Glennon and the Giants. They have a lot of injuries. Like I can't even name them. I think Shepard is out or doubtful. Kadarius is doubtful. They're missing a offensive lineman. I think their left tackle is out. Daniel Jones is ruled out. They have a lot of injuries, and Mike Glennon sucks. Put it like that. So I love the Dolphins D. So that's my tier 1 defense, and I'm considering the price a lot when I do say that because I think I rank the Rams higher, but they're much more expensive. So just really quick, I like the Rams D at 4,000. I like the Colts D at 3,700. I really like the Eagles D at 3,600 if Zach Wilson's playing. I like the Bucks D a lot just because of the upside. That's it. I feel like the Bucks D is very risky, very expensive, could ruin lineups. But then again, wouldn't be surprised if they're a top 2 defense this week. Cardinals D is right there. Like it could be the best defense. 3,400, super cheap, super low scoring game. The Bears are absolute trash. They can't throw the ball that well, and all they do is run the ball into a wall. They do nothing on offense. It's not explosive. So this should be a low scoring game with the Cardinals having a huge lead. So I do love the Cardinals defense. If you're looking for cheaper options, Vikings are going against the Lions. That's not a bad defense. Another low-scoring game there. But Vikings just don't have a great D in general. Niners D is very cheap, 3,000. And if you want to be a contrarian, do some weird stuff, some unpredictable stuff, we got the Ravens at 3,400 going against the Steelers. We've seen the Steelers fall off last year, and Big Ben is not younger, and the Steelers are still kind of banged up. So a lot of good things can happen, I feel like, with the Ravens D. They're a very up and down defense, and yeah, going against the old Big Ben, good things can happen there. So we got the Ravens at 3,400. They'll be contrarian. And if you just want to save money, I don't recommend these defenses. We got the Raiders at 2,800 and Washington football team, who never really has a high ceiling, at 2,500. That's just a punt. Hopefully that all made sense. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on social media at Fantasy Couch. Where am I at? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you follow me on there too at Fantasy Couch, guys. All right. Good luck this week. Let's finish in the green. Let's win the big money. Peace out.